Hey, what's up, everyone? Thank you so much for checking out this video here on Show Style and Spirit. I am Ebony, of course. As you can see from the title of this video, I will be giving my recap, my commentary on the latest episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville. It is season 6. It is episode 23. And so we definitely have a lot to talk about. Now, before we dig in deep, I ask that you all please hit the like button on this video. It will cause YouTube to recommend this video to more people who also enjoy watching Love and Marriage Huntsville, and they also enjoy the episode recaps. And if you have not already done so, please subscribe to Show Style and Spirit. What's up, Christine? Thank you so much for being here. And everyone who is here with me in the chat or in the bushes, hello, and thank you for being here. And everyone who is checking out the replay, thank you for checking out the replay, and please hit the like button. All right, so let's get started. So the episode opens up where Melody met with Amin and Kiki at the storage unit because they were trying to get their new house together. And Melody says, let's just put all the rumors to bed. Let's shut them down in their lies, and let's do a drug test. And I have one in my car. We have all discussed this. Y'all are so smart. What's up, Brenda? How you doing? Thank you so much for being here. We've all talked about how you can get a test right at your local drugstore. It is not a big deal, but we see where Wanda went live referring to Melody as the doctor, mocking her and saying that this test has to be fake or botched or tampered. She was using the word illegal, okay? And, everyone was in the comments like, how can a test be illegal? But I think she was trying to say it was tampered with or botched. But we all know that that is normal to get one right from the store. Yes. Oh, I'm so glad you're here. You couldn't click fast enough. That is awesome. It's okay, girl. Don't worry about it, Brenda. Don't apologize. All right. So then, Amin was like, you don't have nothing to prove to nobody. And I get your point, Amin. But when you are dealing with like people like your in-laws who will try to act like they are the smartest people in the room and think that they can just deflect and not even speak on their own truth, but they want to always comment on your truth. I see why Melody said, how about you take the test and shut everything down? So Kiki said, if he takes a lie detector test, I'll take one. And Melody's like, he ain't going to do that. So Kiki said, okay, I'll do it. And camera showed her go into the bathroom and everything came out negative. Now, you all are definitely intelligent. A couple of people shout out to, and forgive me if I forget your names. I don't even remember all of the names. You all were saying how the methadone, it's meant to help the body not crave the opiate. That it's like a man-made synthetic, so it's not really going to show in a test the same. And that makes total sense to me. But everything that she was tested for came up negative. We know that in addition to Wanda's live this week, just yesterday, Marceau went live on his Instagram where he was trying to make fun of this test, trying to eat at its credibility by, taking his pulse and asking himself, do you love your wife? Yes. No lie detected. Do you like your wife every day? Yes. No lie detected. He was making a mockery of this test that Kiki did with Melody by, creating his own test on Instagram. Whatever, dude. We all know. I was thinking about making a video about going to the drugstore and see if I could buy one. Because, he and Wanda are trying to convince us that this is just totally unrealistic. But it is very much so realistic. What's up, Liz? Thank you so much for being here. Christine says, I wish Kiki would have went to her rehab center. And that's definitely an idea that she can do. I think Melody was thinking, let me go and grab one from the store. That's an idea as well. But yes, what you're saying, I totally get. What's up, Demita Joe? Thank you so much for being here. I am so glad that you're here. I'm very familiar with the medicine, and she had not received it yet. It would not be in her system. Okay, thank you for that. So let's move right on along. Oh, also, before I forget, in this scene, Melody let Kiki and Amin know that Tiffany was talking about their son who is a very great athlete in the Huntsville area. Melody was saying that Tiffany is so worried about them trying to get him in a certain school district and was wondering how are they going to do that when they don't live there. And as we all know, that is the purpose into them moving, to get their athletic son in a school district that is very attractive to recruiters. I think that's very smart. That is quite the sacrifice for the family, for your son to get scholarships. And now I'm starting to see Tiffany, I think, is a little jelly of Kiki. I think she's a little jealous. I don't know how athletic some folks are under her household, but she seems to really be keeping up with Kiki. Keeping up with the Kikis, okay? That is the show that plays in Tiffany's head. It only stays in the system for 72 hours. Okay. Oh, that's so sweet. Y'all speak to each other. Kiki said she invited production to go with her when she got tested, and they didn't want to. We know they prefer the drama. Yep. Tiffany is miserable, 100%. And I feel like, let me say, what's up, Dee? Thank you for being here. I mean, Tisha and Martell will always twist the truth when it comes to Kiki. Absolutely. And they think that they're humiliating her, and they think that we're going to laugh at her. Now, what I want to say is that Tiffany, she needs to stop. She needs to stop trying to put people out there on Front Street. They're moving. They're going about it the right way. It's not like they're calling a friend or a family member who lives in that other school district and say, hey, can I use your address? They are actually physically moving into that neighborhood that qualifies for that school district. Tiffany, I think you should just mind your business and just keep quiet. The last time you spoke on a child, it was monster. And, then Maurice was absolutely right, because when you tried to say you had heard it from someone else, Maurice said to you, well, Tiffany, I need you to tell me which school official has been gossiping about my son so that I can report them. And then you were just sitting there, looking from side to side because you realized you had opened your mouth too much. Just don't speak on people's kids. It's a great sacrifice what they're doing. And I think Tiffany, she's just coming off like a little hater. What's up, Lisa, my girl? Thank you so much for being here. Tiffany always hides behind baby Ace. First, she was hiding behind her pregnancy and now has the baby in every scene. I know. And the nipple and areola is out in every scene too. She's always feeding him, except for when they were at the barbecue and all those men. She knew not to pull it out then. But when it's just her and women, that's totally what Tiffany does. So then we have these two clowns. We have Tisha and Martell. So Tisha is packing a suitcase because they're going to go to the beach for 5 days in celebration of their daughter Mila's birthday. Now, Martell just had a couple of pieces of clothing right there beside him in the bed. He said, this is all I need. How long we going? He is totally disconnected from his family. I can remember like a few seasons back when he didn't even know one of his kids had a peanut allergy. Like, he is so out to lunch when it comes to the people under his household. He's like, how long are we going for? And Tisha's like, we're going for 5 days. He's like, 5 days? We can't go for 5 days. We got this that's being delivered and I got to do that. He don't even want to be bothered. And so she's like, this is what Mila wanted to do, so we are going. And then Martell had the nerve to say to Tisha that he loved the way that she carried herself at the barbecue. Really, Martell? Her cousin trying to say hello, and Tisha's acting like she's not even there and just walking right past her. And then while she's trying to talk with Stormy, since you all were ignoring her, then y'all started asking Stormy's questions, being totally disrespectful, but you like how Tisha handled that. Okay, fine. And then he brought up, he does have like lots of feminine energy. He brought up Stormy. He didn't like being called the B word. As much as he was trying to act like he didn't care, he very much so cared. And this scene showed that 100%. Stormy knew what she was doing. She knew what she was doing. But you know, I comforted her when she talked about her friend who had the addiction problem. Like Marceau, he has to pat himself on the back no matter what. It is ridiculous. And Tisha helps him do it. They were actually made for each other because no other woman would put up with half of Marceau's foolishness and to have to stroke that ego. Let me get caught up on the comments here. Tiffany is trying to hold on to a thread by being messy. Yes, trying to remain on the show. Big Lou doesn't want to participate. That's so funny, Dee, that you said that, because when I watched this episode, I thought about Lou. I said, he's over it. When Marceau and Martell were arguing with Tiffany, calling her a Karen, and he got with them, he was over it then. He was checked out. But she still wants to be on the show. And in addition, I think, to being a hater about Kiki's son being so athletic, what you just said, trying to remain on the show, she's worried that Kiki will replace her. And that will be a good replacement. If Kiki's family were trying to use someone else's address, Tiffany/Karen would be there first trying to report them. Yes, Lisa, she would. She would have totally reported that. And then not only would she have screwed up that boy's scholarship opportunities, then she would have ran to Carlos King. Oh, and you know they tried to use someone else's address and somebody had to report them, and it'll be her the whole time. You're absolutely right, Lisa. Marceau doesn't want to leave his mistress for that long. Oh, I know, because he definitely don't want to be bothered with his wife and the kids for 5 days. And he's acting like that's forever. 5 days gonna go by like that. We've all been on vacation on PTO. We know how fast a week goes by. Oh, y'all are so sweet. I can't wait for Marceau and Tisha's karma. Oh my gosh. I think they're already getting it. She definitely would report her, huh? Tiffany is putting her marriage on the line for this show that will go on without her and leave her. Exactly. That's funny that Dee brought that up, because I was thinking that earlier this morning. I said, Lou is over it, but I don't think Tiffany cares. How long was Marceau in Africa? Y'all know I don't even feel like he really went to the motherland. I feel like Africa is code for Atlanta and some big booty girl over there, and he calls her Africa. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm sure he had to be gone at least a week in Africa, because you're not going to go to the motherland for just a few days. That's your flight to and fro alone. So, you know, in this scene, Tisha's calling Kiki all sorts of liars, saying that she is done with Kiki. And then, y'all, Marceau says something that is so interesting. He tells Tisha in this scene right here that she does not take accountability. Pot, meat, kettle. And both of y'all are black, okay? Marceau had the nerve to say that to Tisha. Tisha gets really defensive really quickly. That is definitely a thing with her. She gets super duper defensive. And she was like, you know, what have I not taken accountability for? Production backs up Marceau, and they play the clip from one of those town hall meetings where Melody said, you know, very gently, the event did lack some organization. And then Tisha said, so you're saying the event was disorganized? And Melody said, yes, it was. And then Tisha actually said, well, we're just here to talk about the actual event. And afterwards, we're not talking about anything that led up to it. And Melody said, that doesn't make any sense. If we're going to talk about the expo, we have to talk about everything that went into it. Who does that? Like, we're not going to talk about any of the planning, excuse me, just the actual expo and everything thereafter. Tisha, I get it if like you may feel embarrassed if people call out your mistakes. She cried in the scene with Marceau when they talked about her getting caught using Stormy's shipping policy on her website for her kids' hair care line. Just say that you're embarrassed or ouch, I feel so silly, I did that. You don't have to be so defensive and then come up with lame stuff like, well, we're not going to talk about everything that went into the expo, just the expo and afterwards. But production totally backed up Marceau by even playing that clip. And he was trying to tell her in this scene, basically you need to be better about taking feedback. And then she just starts changing the subject, talking louder over him, walking away, and you need to pack your suitcase. And he's like, you do it. That's your job. So, then his sexism has to come out. I guess only women pack suitcases. That is just so dumb. What was he doing when he was single? I don't know how he was living and who would even bother to date him. The ignorance that spews out of his mouth when it comes to women, I just cannot. But she was definitely feeling away as soon as Marceau brought up how she cannot take feedback. And that's going to be key because we're definitely going to see Tisha act like that a little bit later on. He was gone for a month. Yeah, he didn't go to Africa. He went to Atlanta, Africa. Yes, Africa, I believe is AKA for Atlanta. Tisha acts like she's going to pack Marceau's clothes. Yeah, right. Or she knows she ran to pack them just like he said. Marceau loves flaunting his infatuation with Melody in Tisha's face. Oh, that's right, Dee. So even him agreeing with her about her not taking accountability, especially in Tisha's mind, she would probably take that as, and he's agreeing with Melody 100%. What's up, Phyllis? Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. All right, y'all. So let's move right along. So then we see Miss Van is back. Yay. I'm so happy to see Miss Van. And Melody's party planner, Gigi. I thought the party planner, she was on point. We've all seen, like back when this name-changing ceremony took place, we saw on Melody's IG stories the beautiful invitation. It looked gorgeous. We can see some of the scenes. It looks like Melody is wearing like a gold or wine color ensemble. And she said, we're going to transform the backyard. Her party planner, Gigi, said, we're going to put Rogers and lights like 4 or 5 feet tall. I'm like, oh my gosh, Gigi looks like she is on point. Nothing like Tiffany's party planner for the sip and see of Baby Ace at that restaurant. And we saw the balloons in the garbage bags. Gigi sounds like she is amazing. Just her talking, I was like, girl, she done sold me on the event for sure. So then I have a question for y'all. So when Miss Van came in, Melody said, hey, Mama, how was your trip? She was like, it was good. It was just 4 hours. So does Miss Van live 4 hours away from Melody, or was it just a coincidence she had gone someplace on vacation and she was driving back into Alabama and it was a 4-hour drive? I was wondering, like, oh my gosh, does she live 4 hours away? Even if she ever wanted to help out with the kids, is she that far? I hadn't realized if Miss Van lived that far from Melody. I know it is great to see Miss Van. Definitely production. They are in tune with all of the viewers' comments on social media, as well as in these chats when all of us content creators do TV show recaps. And they definitely know that we have all been upset about not seeing Miss Van. And I think that they really asked her, can you film leading up to this name-changing ceremony? And now we're seeing her. You could see how much Melody looks like her mother in that scene. Yes, for sure, she looks like her mom. Gigi is professional, I know, and so creative. I thought her ideas were popping. Miss Van doesn't live in Huntsville. I remember Melody saying that during an interview also, but I didn't know if she lived like 4 hours away. I was like, oh, wow. But I thought this was great. So also in this scene, Melody lets her mom know, like, I got a letter from probate court, but I haven't like read it yet. And her mom's like, I can't believe you haven't read it. And she's like, go get the letter. So then Melody gets the letter, and it was written very well, wasn't it? To come from like probate court. I thought it was so poetic, and they definitely approved the name change. And Melody said, "This is the last piece." And her mom became emotional and they hugged. I thought it was such a touching scene. You can tell that it means a lot, not to just Melody, but to Miss Van as well. And I think that that's very bold and courageous because, yeah, a lot of times, women, they'll be legally divorced, but they will keep the married name. I know for two of my sisters who are divorced, they kept their married name. Really, like three of them kept their married names, and then two, they went back to their maiden names. But and then one of my sisters has remarried. So typically the women keeps the married name, especially if they have children. But Melody is very bold. She wants to step back into her identity before she had any dealings with Martell. And I think that that's great. And it's a huge show of I don't give up what anybody thinks or says. And her having a different last name does not change anything about her wonderful relationships with her children and them having a different last name. So I thought that this was great. And I thought it was very touching. I believe she either still lives in their hometown, yes, okay, or close by her hometown. Okay, this scene was touching to me also. Yes, I thought it was so sweet. Sadly, production just doesn't show taping of Miss Van. I know. And if she does live 4 hours away, production, y'all need to shoot some FaceTimes between Melody and Miss Van, some phone conversations. We miss her. And we were seeing her all of those other seasons. Never seen Wanda hug Tisha or show her any affection. I know, because this was such a loving moment. I kept mine as well so that my students wouldn't be confused. Okay, but on Facebook, I use my maiden name. Okay, that makes a lot of sense to me yeah, because students will wonder, what's going on. So that was very smart. I do not know why women do that when they divorce. Some of them say, I guess like for continuity purposes, when the kids have one name, they just keep it. But, and in my family, like I said, the women are split. Some kept the married name, some did not. But I thought this was such a great scene. So then we see Stormy meet with Kiki. So Stormy went to Kiki's new home where Kiki is like cleaning the kitchen, getting ready. And Stormy did ask her, I could even sense in her tone, like Stormy was like, so why did you move? Like she didn't want to come off mean or like she was prying, but it almost made me wonder if like production also just didn't show it to us, but was the whole group gossiping about Kiki and Amin like, yeah, and why did they move? Because Wanda has insinuated or suggested on one of her YouTube lives that, like they constantly move, like it's always a financial reason. But Kiki said, well, no, my husband wants to put my son in a better position for scholarships. So we moved to this school district, where they get lots of recruits. And then that was it. And then they just kept rolling with the conversation. And Stormy let her know that, they were talking about you after you and Amin left, trying to suggest that you were still using. And the way they were talking about you, I couldn't help but think about my friend, and I got emotional. And Kiki was dragging Marceau in this scene. She said that Tisha has a wife. Her and her wife pre-planned everything to provoke me when they were not speaking to me. She said she was convinced that Marceau told Tisha, okay, look, this is what we're going to do. When we see Kiki at the barbecue, we're not going to speak to her. We're not going to say anything to her. And if she tries to bring up the alleged rumor, we're just going to act like we don't hear her. And when Kiki said that, I have to agree. I can totally see Marceau pre-producing the scene to Tisha. When we get there, we're going to act like we don't even see her. We're not even going to talk to her. We're going to ignore her. And she was down with it. This episode really showed, I don't even want to use the word childish because I really want to drive this home. Tisha is like a baby, like a kid. And for those of y'all who have been on Twitter, at least the past few years, and y'all were watching All About the Tea here on YouTube, All About the Tea used to be popping. Back then, a lot of the panelists were on Twitter, and they were saying how on Twitter they were calling Tisha Goo Goo Gaga. And that is how they were referring to her, Goo Goo Gaga. And Goo Goo Gaga has come back to my mind, baby, because I'm like, she is like a child. And I do believe, Kiki, that Marceau pre-produced that scene and told Tisha, we're going to act like we don't even see her. And then Stormy and Kiki brought up Tiffany in this scene, how they could not believe Tiffany's interview with Carlos King. I remember making a video about that where I talked about Tiffany really thinks she is better than Kiki. And Stormy said, I was shocked that she would even let those words come out of her mouth. Of course, I'm paraphrasing, but Stormy said she was shocked that Tiffany really talked like she is better. She has a hard on for Kiki. Like y'all said in the chat, she's kind of worried, like she'll do whatever it takes to remain on the show. And I think she watches her every move, like with the son that's athletic. And I don't know how close in age he is to her son and her stepson, but there is definitely an obsession going on, that Tiffany got from Miss Kiki. But Kiki also let Stormy know, yeah, she's been talking junk about your products. So I guess Stormy sent Tiffany a gift basket. She said, and I sent her 2 dozen roses. Was that like a push gift for pushing baby Ace out? Well, I was wondering, I didn't get why Stormy sent her so much and was being so kind. I can only imagine that was like some sort of push gift for having baby Ace. What y'all think? So it sounds like Tiffany was talking ish about Stormy's products, saying that they're not natural. Was she talking ish to Melody, and Melody let Kiki know and production just didn't air it? That's the only pipeline that I can think of that it would have made its way back to Kiki. And then Kiki told Stormy. Stormy, interestingly, in her confessional, was like very calm about it. She was like, okay, I'm not really gonna trip about it. I'll just talk to Tiffany later. So she didn't really give Kiki much of a reaction. I think that she is reserving that to hear Tiffany directly from the horse's mouth, and then she will respond accordingly. I think that is smart. That's fair. So, yep, about Marceau pre-producing, you believe that too? Absolutely gossiping about Kiki and her family. They're going to have to talk about lawsuits. I know. That's how I feel. You need to have that same energy when it comes to your own reality. So Brenda went back to your maiden name. Okay, yep. You have 5 sisters. That must have been fun. But child, no. And they are 12 to 21 years older than me. So yeah. And then, cause I'm the baby, I'm a late baby. So it was just me, mama, and daddy in the house. And then once the marriages didn't work out, they were trickling back home one by one after the other. Then the house was like packed, which I wasn't used to. They were, because they grew up with each other, but I was kind of, their words, I was like an only child. So yeah, then the house filled back up. Absolutely gossiping about Kiki and her family. They're going to have to talk about the lawsuits. Yep. That's funny. Stormy referring to Marsha as a wife. I know. That was hilarious. And Kiki called Marceau Madam Marceau. I thought that was hilarious. I love Kiki calling Marceau a wife. She knows he's going to see it, and Kiki doesn't care. Exactly. That's going to be hilarious. And I hope Carlos don't skip around this at the reunion. It's going to be funny, and we have to see how he responds. What a Karen that Tiffany. I know. I believe Tiffany is on her way out, and I think she believes it too. That's why she's doing all this shucking and diving and trying to come down on Kiki. Own better be careful playing about addiction. That is a very, very serious topic. I hope Kiki sues Carlos, defamation of character. What's up, Ms. Z? Thank you so much for being here. Stormy seems to be pretty generous. Yeah. Remember Destiny's purse? Yup. Gucci. Melody's recorded video at Stormy's home. Yes, that's right. You're right. That could just be in her nature to be generous. That's a very good point, Dee. Yes, I'm so glad we're all here together. I'm guessing because we're already at November, but y'all, they haven't even gone to Houston yet. I'm guessing the reunion won't air until December because they have filmed it. They filmed it at least a month ago, like a month or 2 ago. So I'm guessing it's not going to air until December. I think we still have a ways to go. Mhm. What's up, Alf MC? Thank you so much for being here. I'm in the bushes listening while cooking our youngest his favorite birthday meal. Oh, happy birthday to your son. That is so sweet of you. Having a child did not keep Big Lou home. I know. You right, Cheryl. In fact, he kind of deuced out, didn't he? He found him a gig as a coach at a university, so he'll have to travel. And he's probably helping the team do really good. And that's why they're still in all these games and stuff. I think they're cordial. That's a very good question. I think that they're cordial. We all know that Stormy, she still like feels away. Remember at the barbecue, Melody came and sat next to her. Melody was very energetic. They were playing cards. She was having a good time. And Stormy was just like quiet. And then she got up and sat like maybe like one seat over next to Kiki. So I think like it's more so on her. I think Melody's energy, she's all cool. What's up, Mama V? Thank you so much for being here. Tiffany should have listened to Dr. Francis. Yeah, but you can tell, can't nobody tell her nothing because Dr. Francis couldn't tell her nothing, and neither can Lou. Okay, but let's move right on along. So this is the scene where Goo Goo Gaga, she cuts up again. So they are I believe the sign outside this building said Madison Ballroom. And it looks like they could probably have parties there. It looks like it's probably fun. Like you can like dance on that dance floor, do some hustles, some ballroom dancing. And Melody's fitness trainer actually held a session with them. Her name is Miss Deborah. Wonderful body. She looked amazing. And she actually did a circuit training with them. So they had that mat where they could do mat work. She had like the utility ball where you could squat and then pull it back up. They were doing ab exercises, knee lifts. She warmed them up and then they kind of circulated. She even had sliders on the floor. I saw Tisha using those. And one thing that I want to point out is that obviously Melody checks on Kimmy. And not only does she check on her, Kimmy actually shares with her what she's going through. And Melody remembers. Melody even applies it. I'm sorry, I don't get this same vibe from Tisha. And they're related by marriage. Let me give y'all the example. I'm sure y'all remember. As Miss Deborah is explaining the circuit training, Melody goes, well, Kimmy, I know you're having issues with your breathing. I think you just take it easy, okay? You take it easy. And Miss Deborah goes, okay, well, Kimmy, I'll have you on the mat. And Kimmy said, I'll just do what I can. And so, Tisha didn't chime in and say, oh, that's right. Oh, yeah, I forgot, Kimmy. Yeah, take it easy. I could tell Melody was in tune with Kimmy. She totally remembered what Kimmy confided in her. And I just felt like, they do talk. They talk outside of the cameras. Melody is still checking on her. And Kimmy, I just hope that you are taking note of that, okay? Don't forget who has your back. And then what we also learned in this scene was that Kimmy says physically she feels fine, but she loses her breath easily. She took 2 tests with her doctor, did not pass them, and the doctor just told her it's not going to get better. I thought that was kind of sad. She said that she's not giving up, basically. She has a breathing machine, and she says she does the breathing exercises every day. So I would say continue to do that, Kimmy. I know one of my lock influencers, I follow her with her lock journey. She says when we walk out in the sun, the energy from the sun actually helps to regulate your breathing. Maybe that could help as well. But I definitely hope that improves. That was kind of sad to hear her say. So let me get back to the comments. I just asked my daughter if she could deal with 5 sisters. She just stared. She has 2 older brothers. That's enough. I know, that's right. Oh, and she's the baby girl. That's a good combination. Yes, indeed. Stormy is still a little salty. That's the perfect word. That Melody didn't trust her with her new telephone number. I know. And Stormy, you're going to have to get over that, baby. You see who she was married to. you know you got some people you ain't gonna never give your telephone number to. And I've already told myself if I ever had the chance to talk with Stormy, I would say to her, I just want you to know I have DM'd my friends very important stuff. When I had to get an insurance guy, I mean, I found him through DM on Facebook. That's normal, Stormy. It don't mean that Melody don't care about you. My goodness. I have always felt like that. Melody just looks like Mariah here. I know, wearing her natural hair up in the bun. I was thinking that too. I'm like, she looked like a teenager. Hey, Cece. That scene was awkward from the beginning. Tisha was off, and the trainer only had 2 shirts and gave them to Mel and Kimmy. I am sure she felt away. That's a good point, Cheryl. Because I thought that was interesting. Miss Deborah, I'm sure it was very innocent in her just having the 2 shirts. And yeah, she didn't give them to Tisha. You're right. Because the way Tisha acts, you know she did feel away that she did not get a shirt. I wouldn't have cared, but she would have cared. Oh my gosh. Tisha is selfish. She's like a child. Tisha is very self-centered and only wants to focus on her at all times. Melody always looks out for others, whereas Kimmy is not in tune or concerned with what Melody has going on. I know. It's like, I don't even think she realizes. Like, she is totally in tune with what you got going on, Kimmy. Between that and Maurice saying we don't have long, I got a strange feeling about Kimmy's health. Oh gosh. That's sad. Stormy got to block out her mother. I know, that's right, with all of her negative influence when it comes to Melody. Very good point. Melody has always been there for Kimmy through her illness, and Tisha could care less. Tisha cares about herself and Marcel. What's up, Melanated Energy? Thank you so much for being here. Hey, Coleslaw, Melody has edges. Word, okay? That shirt would have not fit Tisha anyways. Brenda, get out my head. I was thinking that too, because I was like, I wouldn't have cared if they wouldn't have fit my breast. No way. So I wouldn't have cared, but I know Tisha, and she probably knows it wouldn't have fit anyway, and she would have still been mad about it. It was Tisha's dark energy that caused that lady to only have 2 shirts. I know, she was totally off. I'm glad y'all are bringing that up, because my whole thing is, why are you on a reality TV show if you don't want to film scenes? As soon as she pulled up, Melody waited for them outside of the building. She was like, hey, Tisha, hey. And Tisha got out and she was like, hi. And Melody says in her confessional, like, I don't know what's wrong, but her energy is already off. I'm just going to see what happens. Kimmy comes and she's like, hey, Kimmy's in her Rubicon. I had to pull up in my ride. Kimmy's feeling good. And Melody gets out, or she gets out and Melody speaks. And Kimmy's like, what's wrong, Tisha? And Melody goes, she was like that way with me. We're going to see. She's like a baby. Tisha, all you had to say was, you think, because according to you, you think Kiki is still using and she's a liar. And you could say, and I'm done with it. I'm done talking about it. But don't sit there and say, like, I am leaving. I am done. What? That just seems so silly. And then she was like, she's still using. And Melody didn't even say, like, well, I had the test in my hand. She was negative for everything. She was like, how you know? And then Melody asked her, did you and Kiki have words before the barbecue? That is when Tisha got so defensive. And she was like, I'm leaving. I am leaving. I do not want to talk about this anymore. Then in her confessional, Tisha had the nerve to say that Melody doesn't know that no means no. What, did she and Kimmy gangbang you? And that's what you said? Like, why would you use that term? We all know what no means no, what that refers to. And this is nothing in that stratosphere, nothing remotely close. Melody just doesn't understand that no means no. They did not gangbang you, girl, in this workout room. You need to stop it. You mean the rented Rubicon? Oh, y'all are just dragging tonight. Oh my gosh. Yes, Tisha is so immature. And then she got up and left. I'm going to the beach. And then, of course, Kimmy covers for her. Melody said, she keeps saying that she's okay, but I don't think she's okay. And Kimmy said, well, oh no, I took it like as I don't want to talk about it no more. I'm okay. But still, you don't like get up and leave. Like she is still filming for a reality TV show. That's why she's talking about it. Okay? Come on now. That's why she is talking about it. She talked about it with her husband in private, but now in front of Melody, she just gets so triggered. It's amazing how these women, when they have to be around Melody, their energy is just, it's on something else. And I mean, she's never like inappropriate or cursing you out or yelling or threatening you. She was just like, did anything happen prior? Tisha was mad because, like Melody said in her confessional, she doesn't want to talk about what they were discussing prior because then she would have to get into the rumor about Marceau and her alleged makeup artist. I think Tisha acts down for sympathy from everyone, like a child, as you say, yes, to get the sympathy. Absolutely. Tisha was shook. She knew she couldn't face facts. Absolutely. I agree with you. What's up, the review hour? Thank you so much for being here, E. Letitia needs a bottle and a crib. Yes, she does. And a little rattle toy. My goodness. I know, the review hour, she is dope. But this scene, it was just very telling. And I just hope that Kimmy's, that loss of breath issue goes away soon. I really do. So then we see with Martell and Nell, I know, and now Miss Z, I'm like thinking about Kimmy. I'm gonna say a prayer for her because like I don't want anything to be wrong. But with Martell and Nell, this clown, let me go to my notes. I want to make sure that I am not missing anything. So Martell pulls up. He's dropping off a couple of bottles of wine. He's in a suit, which I thought was interesting. He didn't say that he was about to go anywhere or do anything. I think that he didn't know if Chris was going to be there and he didn't want to be outdressed. So he came up with a couple of bottles of wine. He said, yeah, I heard y'all are having a family dinner. She said, yeah, she was watering her plants. And Nell brings up the name changing ceremony. Now, I was thinking like she's going to probably annoy a couple of viewers, like why even tell him? And I think to her credit, like the producers, they're going to say, okay, Nell, we want you to film this scene with Martell and we want you to talk about the name changing ceremony. So they bring people together, the producers, and they reveal what the topic of discussion will be. And then the rest is on the reality TV stars. That's what I think. So I think she had to talk about it with him. I'm guessing production knew that out of everyone on the cast, the only person who was invited to the name changing ceremony was Nell. So that's why Nell had to film this scene with Martell. Martell totally goes off the rails, as y'all know. For him, okay, let me just say what he says and then give my commentary on it. So he feels like it's a slap in the face for her to change her name and make the ceremony. He's really bent over the ceremony, that she is celebrating it. And he kept using the word party. And also with Martell, he feels like Nell is taking a side by attending. He is so crazy that he said that he would love to have the names of everyone who is attending this name-changing ceremony. Martell, where do you get off? Where do you get off? She can do this if she wants to. It is a ceremony, just like when y'all got married and she took on your last name and y'all had the wedding ceremony. She's just doing this in reverse, her taking her maiden name back. What's wrong with that? Absolutely nothing. So then also, I felt like he was being stalkerish and just downright crazy. And so did Nell. She was totally outdone by the time she got to the end of it. Now, in the beginning of this conversation, she was saying, I felt like she could have spoke to you at the barbecue. I feel like now you have to look at things also that by the time a person won't even speak, I think it's safe to say that that person has crossed boundaries with them so many times that she don't even want to speak. And then he also tried to get full custody of the kids. So yeah, if she wasn't speaking to him, I totally get it. She tried to be cordial with him last season when she paid for him and his mama to join her in Destin, Florida with the kids, and he totally screwed that up. So he screws up the opportunities where Melody tries to be cordial with him. Now, he was totally getting loud with Nell, saying, I cheated because she cheated. And she said, well, I don't know nothing about that. And he was just totally triggered. Let me get caught up on the comments. They are all intimidated by Melody's energy, 100%. Martell and Tisha both had tantrums this episode. How ironic. I know, they both did. Melody or Tisha was like a little baby. It was getting on my nerves. He delivers the last 2 bottles of I Nest in a suit. I know. I'm like, he is really crazy. He pulled up and fully dressed in a suit. I'm so glad Neil told him about it. He deserves the slap in the face. Yes, he does. And a whole lot more. Christine, thank you so much for the super sticker. That was so generous of you. Thank you, beamingly beautiful, blessing Ebony. Love you. Love you too. That is so sweet. This scene reminds me of breaking up in high school over friends nonsense. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm like, damn, she can't even go to a name changing ceremony. That's taking a side. How about you tried to subpoena, not even try. You did subpoena her and Chris, didn't tell them about it. And you thought they were just going to speak on your side at a custody hearing? He is just ridiculous to me. He always yells at women, shaking my damn head. I know that's right. And you know what else he was saying in this scene? He was saying, and you coming at me, y'all women got to stop coming after these men. And she was like, what? I think that flipped a switch in her. She was so pissed and she was ready to curse him out. And then she was just trying to put him out after that. And I think he saw where she was getting pissed and it was escalating. So he got in his car and he's still yelling from the car. I'm like, is he crazy? Y'all got to stop coming at these men. And she cheated too. And I ain't cheated in 3 years. So that was interesting. That was an interesting comment. When he said, I ain't cheated in 3 years, almost to say like I haven't been in a committed relationship. So you were just playing the field when you were fake dating Sheree and Ariane. It was all at the same time, and possibly Belinda. So none of those were real, obviously. No committed relationships. Because like you said, Martell, you haven't cheated in 3 years. I thought that was interesting. And Cheryl says, oh, yes, breaking up or in high school. Absolutely. Yes. And thank you for the super chat, Brenda. Love your show. I love you being here. I love your energy. Thank you so much. So I thought that was so interesting about this Negro going off on Nell, and what we see in the next episode. So are all those Nell and Chris's kids, or some of those like nieces and nephews, or perhaps some people that their kids are dating? That was like a lot of young people there at that table. And Nell is going to be yelling. So we're going to see how Nell is at home. I have a feeling Nell is like the hype one in the house and Chris is like calm. Because as soon as she started yelling, they were like, so I can tell, I was like, okay, Nell be going off. And then she lets Chris know that Martell got out of line. And Chris was like, do I need to say something to him? Now, Chris reminds me of one of those people. He is so calm. I would hate to be around when he gets pissed. And he got some muscles on him too. I wouldn't even want to see him get mad. But she's going to let him know that Martell pissed her off. And we have to see what happens. I do have a feeling that Chris is going to say something to him. Once again, trying to deny cheating with coleslaw. Exactly. He was just totally delusional and still trying to get us to think that Melody was this cheater. Boy, you need to stop. because you wouldn't have been able to take it. You would have divorced years ago if that was a thing. And you would have had all sorts of receipts. And if she denied, I'm going to come out with my proof. You ain't got no proof. And we are not stupid. I feel Nell and understand her frustration of people taking kindness for weakness. Absolutely. And he will flip in a second, won't he? Just like that. He is just like going in. Now, if anybody want to come up, y'all are more than welcome. I'm going to check Instagram just to see if any of them are live, because Nell did post a video of herself where she's just like posing, and she said, and I said what I said. And I commented, I was like, are you going to go live this evening to talk about your conversation with Martell? So I don't see where any of them are live. I will keep checking, because if they are, I'll definitely stream it. But if anybody wants to click on the link and come up and share with us your commentary, you are more than welcome. This was a trip, though. I'm like, Martell, she can have a name-changing ceremony. It's over. And for you to keep saying, I ain't cheated in 3 years, so stop saying I'm cheating. Well, why are you feeling a way that she even has this name-changing ceremony? Why do you care that she's going back to her maiden name? And he had the nerve to say, like, she's Rogers. They good people, but she was a kid. Yeah, when she came out of her mother's womb, she was a Rogers. And she was a Rogers for 22 years before she married you. So that is significant. So Martell waited until after he betrayed and destroyed his family, figure out that he should stop cheating. I know, exactly. After he lost everything. I think he's trying to have a way to introduce that revenge P. Oh. So Demita, do you think he's trying to lie and say that Melody cheated and that was why he threatened her with revenge P? Does he really think that's going to be a defense? Now I know he's stupid. Martell worrying about Mill's name change when he should be worrying about a suit and shoe change for himself. I know that's right. And what happened? Because see, that man that does the suits, Miguel, when he asked him for $100,000, we all knew that was a wrap too. We know you ain't about to invest in nothing. And he ain't said nothing else about it this season. Oh, I'm so glad you are enjoying the show, Lamita. And thank you so much for being here. I know. That was funny. Martell do need a suit and shoe change. Thank you so much for being here, Tawana. Oh, so you think he's going to use that as his defense for the revenge P? Okay. I wonder, are we going to hear? I have a feeling the revenge P, it will not be in the second half of season 6. I'm guessing we're going to hear about it season 7. I wonder, are they going to discuss it? I don't know. Martell's red bottoms are now rock bottoms. Oh, y'all are just reading him tonight. Between him, Tisha, and Marcel, y'all don't take no prisoners. I know that's right. What's up, Christine? How you doing?
I'm doing great. Look, I had to go get my charger. Sorry. It's like, oh, I got to come up. Well, first I want to say, like I said in my super chat, I love your commentary. I can never click fast enough. I love that you acknowledge all of our comments, and I feel like we're all part of a good team here to really, like, I can't even watch the shows as much because it just triggers me. And like I said with the Kiki thing, it just really irks me because I personally know about that struggle, and it's just something that I don't play with. I can't laugh about, and I just don't see how the show is able to quote unquote make fun of that, and keep poking her and not like worried about any legal issues, with them the way they treat her. But in another way too with Martell, I was just like, I don't understand why they still allow him to even possibly even film, because he seems to be so physically, I guess, I don't know. I've never been in a fight and I don't want to be in a fight, but just the way that he acts, it's just like, I don't understand how they tolerate it and why they tolerate it, from him acting up on reunions, physically threatening people. I just don't see how they can keep filming with him.
I think it's Carlos. I think that he lets him keep filming.
Wow. Yeah, I
I
think
agree.
it's just so sad where I'm like, man, it's like she's not supposed to change her name. And then what thing that got me, I think I had heard, I didn't watch the show, like I couldn't, but I had heard from a friend of mine, like that he had said, like that she didn't accomplish anything as a Rogers. Without the Roger, the Holt name means nothing. Like, I mean, I don't want to say nothing, but pretty much
Amen.
nothing.
Amen. Amen.
I agree. What's up, Simply Beautiful? Thank you for being here.
Oh, not a problem. I was waiting for you to go live.
Yes, girl, I did an evening live this time. What were your thoughts on the episode?
Well, I did enjoy the episode. I'm happy for Kiki. Listen, I don't go around questioning anybody's sobriety. So when she said she was clean, I said, okay, Kiki, you clean. But I am happy for her. And I understand, a lot of people are trying to basically question the test because I think she tested negative for methadone. And I think there is a reason for that because she said something to the effect of, during the week in which they filmed that scene, she had not gone to the clinic to get her supply of methadone for, I guess, for that week. And methadone only stays in your system for like 72 hours. So it's a reason why it wouldn't show up on her test. But like I said, I am happy
Yeah.
for Kiki. Um, I actually really did enjoy the Mel and Miss Van scene. It was very touching, and I found myself wiping some tears away because it was like, man, she was more in tune with Holt and Holt than he ever was. So when you say that if it wasn't for the Rogers, there'll be no Holt, I completely agree with that. If you ever go back and watch the seasons, especially when they were together, he broke Team Holt all the time. They would go in there saying we Team Holt, and then when it got to votes and stuff, Martell is the one that always broke Team Holt. So I definitely agree with the fact that if it wasn't for Rogers, there would be no hope. And him putting his last name on this pedestal, like we don't know his past of stealing ATMs with his aunt and uncle, it's it's asinine. Um, the whole I'm tired of them allowing him to make Mel the centerfold of his storyline. It's exhausting at this point. If he doesn't have anything else to film, he needs to go. We're tired of the she cheated. It's a changing story every season. Now she cheated first. If that's the case, Martell, why didn't you say that season one or better yet season two? This didn't come into play until that woman said a divorce was an option and I'm out. So now she cheated first and then she cheated with all these men. You cheated with too many men close to me. But if that's the case, Martell, then why are you manifesting you two being together still? I don't know too many men who would want to stay with a woman who've been with all these men, like he said.
I agree with you. You better read, girl. Dr. Heavenly has said that before. She said some women, they will forgive if their man cheats, but a man cannot deal with a woman cheating. He will leave her. It'll be over. They cannot, their feelings get way too hurt. They cannot take it.
You kind of see this because Martell literally proves that Mel couldn't even go on a date without him following her and recording her. And
Yeah,
he even said in that one scene, he ain't never seen her with another man, but you're so quick to tell the world she cheated on you
yeah.
and that
Trump,
you got all of this proof. How is that possible?
yeah. It's the fake P tape, that revenge P. That's all he
See the
got
pro-
that he done made up.
and I heard you when I think somebody said that he was going to basically use her cheating to introduce their revenge P. He can't
Shelton.
even do that now.
Oh, because
because he said that I believe, remember when they were going back and forth a year ago on Instagram?
yeah.
He basically threatened her with it, but he said in the Queen Sheba interview that she was bullying him when Mel was just simply responding to a live in which he did. The problem was Mel was getting the best of him on social media and she was embarrassing him. So to shut her up, he sent her a screenshot of their
Mm,
S tape. So
yeah.
that, and then it's a legal matter, so it's not going to come up. She already said it's a legal matter. She's not going to talk about it.
She did say that in an interview. And I'm gonna get back around to you, Christine. What's up, Cinnamon Swirl? How are you? I don't see where you're muted, Cinnamon Swirl. You're there. Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Good. Good to see you. What did you think of the episode?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear us?
Um, uh-oh, I hear an echo. Let me drop down and come back.
Okay.
It's like an echo. Let me drop down and come back.
Okay. We'll be here.
Okay.
So, Christine, what did you think about the other scenes, like with Miss Van and the name changing, or like with
Oh,
Tisha and
yes.
Martell?
That is so, but well, I'll start with the good and the beautiful with the name change scene. And I too myself was patting my eyes because I love their relationship. And I just, it's like, people joke, oh, millimeters this, millimeters that. I like genuine people. People make mistakes. We all live and we learn. But I definitely really love and enjoy watching their scenes. And like I said, I'm so happy to finally the production put some good scenes up. I mean, I understand that, yes, we like drama, some people, but not too much, where to me, it just became too triggering. Like I said, I just had to stop watching it until I would hear your commentary. And then I'd be like, okay, maybe it's an okay actual episode for me to watch, because I never really had a show do that before until now. I don't know. Maybe it's just I'm older now and life is lifing and different things can come up in our lives that we don't expect. And I think that's what makes me so mad with Marcel and Tisha, because it's like, you don't know the struggle that Kiki has gone through. And just the fact that you're joking about it, you're laughing about it, it just burns me up. Like I said, because I have, experience personally with that. And yes, and the other sister was correct that she was moving that week. So she didn't go to her appointment. She went to her appointment after that. So it would not be in her system. It does go out within 72 hours. So, and that's why I was just like so kind of upset that I'm like, the show is just playing with fire to me. And I'm like, something that serious. I mean, that was very nice of Mel to do that. But I feel anything like that should have to be at the clinic where she goes with a medical professional. That way we're not playing with any other things, And I know it's just a show. But to me, this is like a little bit more personal. So I kind of get a little bit more upset where I'm like, when Wanda comes on and says what she says. And, I just say, you know what? God has a funny way of things happening in your life if you don't understand it. So the way that they're like making fun of Kiki and picking on her, they better hope and pray that they don't ever come across that same challenge that she has faced and is overcoming within themselves or in their own family and their own children. Like, it's just, I don't know. It just really, it's a hard topic for me that I feel like that's why I'm so upset that I feel like Carlos is playing with the topic and I don't like it. Like, I heard that the reunion, they're still questioning, oh, well, Mel could have just, altered this or did, like you said, what Wanda said, illegal and all this stuff. And it's like, man, I just wish I'm not a big fan of, always just suing or reaching out or calling the police, but it's something like this is so serious. Like, to me personally, I'm like, Kiki's sobriety is on the line. That is her life. And it just upsets me that they're playing with it. But I know God is gonna, I don't know, I'm gonna get my popcorn ready because I believe Marceau and Tisha's day is coming. They don't know how, when, I don't know what, I'm nobody's, I don't wish nothing bad on nobody, but you can't keep picking at people, and especially with something this serious. And I'm just surprised, because other topics, if you say something against another, like, for example, maybe the uh, lesbian gay community, like people will speak up. So that's what I'm looking for with this, that with the Kiki situation, I'm like, come on, like somebody, either where she goes for rehab to speak up for her. I just want somebody to speak up for her.
That's a very good point, Christine, for to have someone advocate for her, because normal in other situations, other groups, they will speak up. That's a very good point. Kiki, I feel like she seems to be handling it well, because you're right. This is a very serious topic. There were times when Kiki, she would go live on her Instagram, and it would be while they were filming this. And I would always think to myself, she seems so hard on herself. She seems very hard on herself. And I think during this time when she was filming, I think she was beating herself up. And I just didn't want like her sobriety to be compromised at all. But I think she's giving herself a break, and she realizes nobody is perfect. Everyone makes mistakes. It was a buildup when she threw the water. I think she's handling all the horrible things that Wanda says about her. To me, as far as I can tell, she's ignoring it. She made light of Marceau's live yesterday. I don't know if y'all noticed today, Kiki went live. She went live for about 5-10 minutes, and she was making fun of Marceau, making fun of her drug test. And she had her dog, and she kept giving him treats. She was like, okay, now if you are a narcissistic liar, go get the treat. The dog will go get it. Like, she was obviously making light of Marceau. But I say that to say, I think she has a good grip on everything, as far as I can tell. And I'm no counselor, but as far as I can tell, she seems to not be letting it get to her self-esteem or her mindset or anything. I'm glad you're
Yes, and
here.
I agree. I agree 100%. And also, I did notice too, I saw her in an interview, and the only thing that she was still holding on to is that she's such a sweet, loving person that she really misses her relationship, friendship with Tisha. Like, people, we were all like, people were coming up like, don't worry about her, just focused on your husband and your family. And she was like, I will. But, and so people finally asked her, like, so if Tisha came over, like, could you repair? She said, I love my cousin. She said she even loves Marceau. Like, she loves love. She loves family. And she really just wants that relationship back with Tisha and Marceau like they used to be. And she even explained that time when he had picked her up. It was one time her and her husband were arguing, and he did come out at 2 a.m. and pick her up. But she was just saying, the way he said it, of course, it was like every night or whatever. He always exaggerates. But yeah, I definitely do feel the same. I just keep her in my prayers that she just keep pressing on. And there's going to be people that'll be in your life for a reason, season, lifetime. And even if they are family, you have family and you have relatives, just like you have associates and you have friends.
Yeah, she may have to let that relationship go. If Tisha don't want to be bothered with her, and they won't treat her with respect, that'll be something that she'll have to be okay with if she got to let it go. Cinnamon Swirl, what did you think of the episode?
Hey, how are you? I thought it was a really good episode. When it comes to Kiki and her relationship with Tisha, it's like a matter of the heart. This is a family member. They've been in each other's life for over 30 years now. And we all know that one thing that can trigger us is when it comes to family and stuff that applies to our heart. So um, I believe that once the show ends, that they can mend their relationship. But as long as Kiki is on the show, I don't think they'll ever be able to be in a relationship because um, the Scots are too afraid that she will release some important information about them. So therefore, they're going to always go after her. I love at first I didn't understand from the past episode why Mel, was showing up with a drug test, but I do understand now, and I'm glad she did because Mel is saying let's take this head on, let's shut them down by showing you are not, taking the pills any longer. So I do agree with that. Um, I did see Kiki's live earlier today, and it does seem as though she's not taking it to heart, that she's taking it all in strides. And I love that about Kiki. Um, but it was a good episode. I was glad to see Miss Vanessa or Vanessa on the show. I can't call her Miss Vanessa because I'm older than Vanessa. So to see her on the show, it was really good to see her. And the thing that struck me in that scene when I first saw her and Mel together was how much they look alike. I didn't realize how much Melody looked like her mom. And when I saw Vanessa's face, I said, "Oh my God, that's Sugar Mama's face." So it was just good to see her and to see how much Mel looks like her mother and how much Sugar Mama looks like the two of them. That really, felt really good to see the resemblance of the three of them. And I love their scene together. It was like a closure of um, a life that Mel has had for the last 13, 14 years. And she is back to her namesake, the name that she was given at birth of Rogers. And it's going to take her a long ways. She started out as a Rogers. She's now back a Rogers again until, maybe she's blessed to have another union. But I'm just very happy to see that Mel is in a good spot. This whole second half of the show is showing that Mel has shown up to work. She has let all that hurt go. So for all the people who have said, "Oh, Mel needs to heal," no, you can clearly see that Mel has shown up to work. This is her show. She's showing up as an EP, and she's producing results from this show. She's moving the storyline. And I love that she's moving the storyline. So for all the people that want to take credit away from Mel, they can't. She's showing up. She is healed. And she may not be 100% healed because everything takes time, but that woman is healed and she's in a very good spot. And we can see it, how she is showing up to work, how she is making the issues of the show really come out. She's really working this season, and I love it.
Thank you for that commentary. Awesome. I'm gonna circle back to you, Simply Beautiful. What's
Okay.
up, the review hour? How you doing?
Hey, how are you?
I am
Can you?
doing good. I can't. It sounds a little muffled, but I can hear you a little bit though.
I'm gonna turn off my earpiece. Give me one sec.
Okay.
At least I'm going to try. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Ebony, would you do an interview with Kiki? Would you like to
Oh,
bring her on?
I'm
Yes, I
sorry.
would love to. I interviewed her maybe like 6 months ago. So I would love to do another interview with her because I would want to ask her when she watched this season and just seeing like the family talk about her when she left the barbecue and knowing, because I think her adrenaline was pumping. She didn't realize that Kimmy was like pushing her and Jalen was saying, go, go. I want to ask her, like, what were your thoughts when you went back and watched the episode? Yeah, I would definitely like to talk with her again. So I need to reach out to her mom about setting that up. I think the review hour, she might still be getting her
Yes.
audio to her. Or you're
I
okay, there you go.
I'm sorry about that, and thank you for your patience. And hello to you and everyone else. I
Hello.
was thinking to
Hello.
hi. I was thinking about Kiki, and we just left last month. With making everyone aware of DV, and a lot of people think that DV only can occur between husband and wife, wife and husband, girlfriend and boyfriend, and so forth. But domestic violence takes place between relatives. And I remember when I worked at a housing authority, and we had to give preferences to people that had suffered, DV from relatives. I was surprised to see that we had a lot of mothers that were running from their sons, cousin running from a cousin. And I look at Kiki, and I remember hearing her the other day. She was stating that she wants to make things right with her family on her father's side. And it hit me. I said, she is a victim of DV. And maybe she realizes it, maybe she doesn't, but in my opinion, she doesn't. And she is no different than a wife wanting to go back to her husband after being abused. Her case, in my opinion, it's emotional abuse. Anytime a family member announce over the internet, that they think they know better than you as to who fathered your child, that's abuse. Or talking about her recovering from drug addiction, that's abuse. That is something that she wouldn't want out in the public. So I wish that she would recognize, in my opinion, that abuse for what it is, and not want to be a part of that family so easily again. Because you wouldn't ask a wife to go back to an abusive husband, or a husband to an abusive wife, or a child to abusive parents. So it's no different in what I've, you know, what I've seen, what she has suffered from this side of the family. And I hope that she will get it, that you should not even consider being a part of that family again, because what they've done, and I have to be fair, in some cases, what they've done to each other. They've said things that they can't take back, that probably emotionally they could never get over. So to me, it's best that they stay apart. Don't even consider trying to make it right. Just go about with your own family and just try to start over there.
That's a very good point. DV as emotional abuse from family members. I love that, E. Thank you for sharing that. Yes, she
Thank
definitely, I mean, even with Miss Wanda, it's clear. I would agree with you. That is emotional abuse. The things that she says about Kiki, always, I feel like they're always trying to embarrass her and humiliate her. And Wanda thinks that we're all looking like, oh, Kiki, oh my gosh. But no, we actually look at it in the reverse. Like, how can she say those things? And when I'm watching Wanda, I think to myself, when Kiki was a teenager, that 13-year-old meeting the family, 14, 15, you're already a kid, so you better not speak up for yourself. I can just imagine what she had to take from them when she was a kid, before she
I
became an adult.
I so agree. So that's why I really hope, I've heard people ask her, would she consider, making amends with her family, with her aunt, with her cousin. And, I'm on the sidelines praying, saying, no, I would never go back, and that's okay. So I hope one day that she can honestly, I don't know, I guess if she needs to forgive herself for something, or forgive them for herself, do that and move on, because you do not have to be a part of that family, other than she seems to get along with her father. That's all she needs. And her own, family that she has with her husband and her children, and on her maternal side. So she doesn't have to be a part of that family. She doesn't have to see them ever again, other than this work relationship that they have. So, but I don't know if Kiki can do it.
That's a very good point.
I,
Simple.
I I agree with what she just said. I'm wondering if Kiki ever had a heart to heart with her mom to say, "Why did you keep me away from my dad for so long?" I believe that's the key to it, and so maybe she may need to mend, something with her dad. But if I was Kiki, I would not want to have anything else to do with Wanda ever. She is the lowest of the low, and nobody needs that type of person in their life. So I agree. She should stay away from, especially Wanda. She needs to continue her relationship with her dad, and it seems like she has a really good relationship with her dad. But any part of that more family, that if they have a mindset like Wanda, where they tear people down, she should stay away from them for sure.
I, I agree. And, it has to be
Agree.
significant change where God steps in and there is true change that she can actually witness and say, hey, this person is definitely not the same, because I don't see her ever trusting her with any information.
Right.
I don't see them ever trusting Kiki with any
Yeah.
information. You
Yeah.
know, I just think that there has been I don't even know what to call it. The relationship is severed. There is no repair unless God steps in himself and fix it.
Right. And I believe Tisha is just like Wanda. I've heard stories in these YouTube streets about um, how Tisha has shown up to women's houses and was busting window shields and doing all kind of stuff when Marcel was cheating. And I do recall when Kiki said that Tisha is not the person she portrays on TV. She is very much a fighter, and I believe she is just like Wanda. I believe Tisha is identical to her mother. She just can hide it better than Wanda, but I believe they are one and the same person. I really do. And so, therefore, she's probably going to have to cut ties with Letitia also and say, "You and your mother, you don't mean me any good. You have said some of the worst things about me, or you send your mother to say some of the worst things about me. And, you're my cousin. I always love you, but that don't mean I have to be around you just because I love you."
Amen. Absolutely. Simply beautiful. What other thoughts you had about the episode?
Um, I did find it very funny that Marceau basically did what Mel accused him of doing, because I believe that conversation she had with Marceau in that bedroom, I believe led to Tisha's stink attitude showing up to that meeting with Kimmy and Mel. He basically took Mel's side, saying you weren't taking accountability when Mel gave her criticism of the Black Expo. It didn't make any sense as to why she showed up to that scene the way she did, unless she just didn't want to be in the hot seat. But it's your turn. You and your husband and the Scots in general have literally rolled the coattail of Mel and Martell's breakdown of their marriage for seasons after seasons after seasons. Um, I felt like she was afraid to talk about the situation because she was afraid to own up to the fact that she did ask Kiki to find out that information, and then she switched up on her cousin. And I think that's the missing piece that she doesn't want to acknowledge, because how are you going to ask somebody to go find information, and then when they find the information, it's again, you're trying to ruin my marriage. I'm just over Tisha and this running away from scenes. No, stand in your ish the way you told Mel to stand in it. And that's
Exactly. All right. Christine, you have any more thoughts about this episode?
I have one thing. I have one more thing to say.
Yes,
I
go
really
ahead.
don't want to have much of a conversation about Mr. Holt, because he's pathetic and he doesn't deserve any attention. For you, you know what you did. You won't take any responsibility for your actions, and you will continue to be eaten alive by your karma. So you need to be quiet, mister. But I wish Nell would not feed into his nonsense by asking Mel, did you cheat? Did you cheat? I wish she would say, you know what I mean? Just leave it alone. Don't feed into his BS because that's all it is. But
Ooh,
of course, she's gonna, go ahead and ask Mel. I guess even next week she may talk about it a little bit at the ceremony, and then
that's
also when they
terrible.
take the trip to Texas. But it's like, you and your husband know a lot about their situation, so for you to continue to bring some light to his storyline, I really don't like that about Nell
Hmm.
because she does know that Martell produced a child when they were married. And I'm sure she heard about the fact that he got this girl pregnant several times, um, even before Mel left him the last time. So, there's no excuse. He's a sorry excuse for a man. He is a person who will never take accountability for their own actions. And until he does, he's going to be eaten alive by karma. He needs to repent for what he did, ask God for forgiveness, and change from trying to hurt the woman who gave him 4 children.
Amen.
He
Can
doesn't
can
care about his children. He says I love my kids. This is all for my kids. But no, you love yourself. You love your image. You don't want to take responsibility because if you love your kids, you could not do this to their mother. Point blank,
preach?
period. Yes, Mel has done some things, but you started it. When you say she is trying to hurt me, no, you started it. You had an affair with a woman and kept getting her pregnant. You didn't even protect your own. You didn't protect your wife from any other diseases that were out there. You didn't protect your children from COVID because you kept running over to her house. You don't know what was going on in her house when she wasn't there.
Amen.
You have no idea what was going on, but you didn't care enough about your children not to bring anything home. You were leaving the house doing one of the worst things that we have ever seen in my lifetime of 60 years, which was COVID. And you didn't care about your family. You kept going out over to her. So, you need to take accountability for what you have done to your family. You are the one that broke up your family, and your wife gave you another chance. She got pregnant with the 4th child, and she wanted to make her marriage work. But what happened? He got greedy and went right back out there. And I don't blame her for saying enough is enough. I can't sit here and try to make something work when he is not willing to change.
Amen. Can I piggyback off of something Cinnamon said?
Mm.
Of
I
course.
I, I just wish that in that conversation with Nell, she would have corrected him on certain things. Like when he said, "Oh, I haven't cheated for 3 to 4 years." You've only been divorced literally for 2 years, and your youngest son is not even 3 yet. So the idea that you weren't cheating, that's bogus. The math isn't mapping, young man. Like,
Right,
I,
because Sugar
Good point.
Mama will be 4 in December. Next month
mm,
she'll be 4, and then
Mhm.
Knox will be 3.
yeah. it, it, it's
So
it's not making any sense, and I just wish that, like I said before, I wish people would stop being in these scenes with him, pretending like they don't know what's going on. So the idea that she told Mel that it was rude to not speak to him, you were so mad at that man because he subpoenaed you to court when he
mhm,
was trying to take that woman's children away from her. But you think she owe him a high and bye? Goodbye now.
exactly.
And do
She is
y'all think that
cordial
he
in
has
front of
a
she
like?
is cordial in front of their children because she don't want to see her children. She wants them to see her speak to their dad. But when they're not there, I don't blame her. I would have nothing. He's dust. I don't even see him. She's doing the right thing. And how dare anyone say she should speak to him. No, she should not. This man has done so much to her after she left him, after she divorced him, the things that he has tried to do to her.
I don't even like the fact that they play on her name around him. Like last episode when Chris was like, I don't care where he go. He can go to Mel's house on the mountain. Like, dude, stop. Y'all
Right.
know what's
Stop.
going on.
Right.
Christine, what were you going to say?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry. My phone blacked out. I was like, oh no, I had to re-enter. Thank you so much for allowing me back in. Yes, last but not least, I was going to ask you, Ebony, do you think Carlos, like how it was told back that the Scotts are protected in their contract to not talk about stuff? Do you think that's the same type of thing with Martell? Like, couldn't they kick off Martell, or is he riding on Mel's coattail that she brought the idea? He just tagged along, but she had the idea of the whole show. Like, could they let him go and let Mel continue on, or is it something kind of like how they said the core six will? We always had to be stuck with the core six.
I think Carlos favors Martell. I don't even think he would let him go. So I think that's why Melody has to continue to film with him and deal with the foolishness, because I think Carlos protects him the most. I think he protects the Scotts too, but I think he protects Martell the most.
Mm-hmm.
That's the guy.
But do you think it's actually a contract? Like, I'm wondering why, like, I mean, it's okay to favor, like people, but as far as not showing when he acted a fool at the last reunion and tore up the stage and physically threatening people and, just literally going ballistic, like they just constantly keep cutting those scenes out. And I'm like, I wonder what kind of contract that really is. But what gets me is that I really, really was like hoping to see something different. I was thinking they kept saying this season, and I haven't watched probably since the blackout. And if I do, it's only through wonderful commentary such as you have, Ebony, or maybe a snippet here and there I'll see on YouTube. But yeah. I've never experienced, my first time experiencing a show that's so triggering. And to me, it's like the whole line, like even, Love and Marriage DC, Love and Marriage Detroit. It's like he has a common stamp on how the drama, and I get it, we like a little bit of drama, but not to the point where it's almost Love and Hip Hop level where people's life are in danger. Like, I just pray that Mel has security everywhere she goes. I'm scared even that she posts her concert schedule. I don't want Martell to pop up there. So I just want him to move on, because a man like him, to me, is scary that you don't know what they're going to do next. When he popped up at both of their daughters' birthday party at the roller rink, like, to me, he's just so unpredictable that, like the other young lady just shared, that, it's literally like physically it's DV. It is, or even, verbal abuse at the same time. Like, he's tag team, like he's shown this over and over again. And I just like, why won't somebody step in?
No, I think I'm sure it probably is contractual also. That's how Carlos has it set up for him. But you're right. He is like a stalker, in my opinion. And one good thing, I don't think the guy has a ton of money. So I don't think he can just easily fly out to where she is and stalk. Like when she took the vacation by herself and met the fine Indian man, I'm sure he went off the rails. But I don't think he got it like that, where he can just book a flight and go fly to where she is. So his stalking is kind of limited, but because of his funds. But I think that he's definitely favored. I'm sure it's on a contractual level. And yes, I agree with you. He comes off very dangerous. That's what, like you were saying, the show is so triggering. If you've ever dealt with a no good ninja that tries to violate boundaries with you, Martell is very triggering, and you can see it because you went through it or you had a girlfriend who did. the review hour, what were you thinking about when it comes to Martell?
Well, I think that Martell, I said it to myself earlier today. I said he's like a big baby. He needs 24/7 attention. And once he finds someone to give it to him, such as Nail, such as Kimmy, and the rest of the crew, but those two especially, and Fletcher, uh, they tend to give him that attention that he craves. Uh, with Nail, those are questions that she didn't have to ask, the statements that she did not have to make, and the things that he brought up, she should have kept it short. And I understand that it's a show, and that you have to make the scene, make it worthwhile for the audience. But I just didn't think that, whenever he says, "What, uh, Mel cheated too," and she should have had a short answer. So what? What's your point? But it's, to me, it seems as if she was trying to plead with him to believe her that she did not know that Mel cheated also. I'm like, why are you pleading with him? So I don't understand that relationship outside of, he needs that attention and they are willing to give it to him, stroke his ego and all of that. They don't have a problem with doing that. And with that being said, if I was Melody, in my opinion, I would still be cautious with them.
Mel did say that she does have security. So
Well,
um
when I say
Oh, good. That's
that's
great.
a good thing. She did say she has security. So and I think it's because she realized he's unhinged. But has is it just me or has anyone else noticed that Martell does not film with the Scots alone anymore? Remember at one point he made up to them and they were together, but it appears now that the only people that film with him by themselves is the Fletchers and then like Courtney, but that's about it. I
Oh.
don't see him filming with the Scots anymore. Like, with Martell, when Marsau and Maurice, I don't see him filming with them anymore. And I just happen to think about that.
Do you think they're scared he'll put them on blast like how he put Chris
I
Fletcher's
do.
business on blast?
I do because now it was in their contract. I know it was brought out that Marcel said that if infidelity on his part came out, he was going to walk away. But I don't believe they're they're going to honor that part of his contract anymore because you can see more and more coming out, and I think that Carlos realized that they have to move the show so they can't continue to let them hide. So I believe that is done. I don't believe that Martell has a contract that they don't show the bad side of him. I just believe it's favoritism from Carlos. But I do believe that favoritism that Carlos shows, Martell is going to burn him severely when it comes to the network because it's been some real DV. And by them not holding him accountable, I believe that when whatever happened with Melody's makeup artist, what was that, 2 seasons ago when he went off on him, and you could see when they came back from the commercial break that like Tisha and Marceau and Mel started crying, how Carlos was all upset. I believe that Carlos convinced them that he could handle Martell. And I
Hmm.
believe they are now saying that he cannot handle him. So I believe that Mark that Carlos has stepped back because he cannot handle Martell's anger. And when he becomes unhinged and it is making him look bad to the network.
Yeah, someone said in the chat earlier, I have to go back, they were saying they think that Carlos is sick of Martell at this point. But yeah, if you
Yeah.
keep covering for someone who's a huge F up and he's got all these issues that you have to keep protecting, I bet it is exhausting. I bet he has learned he can't handle this man. He's out of
Hmm.
control.
I also think Martell knows that some of his outrageous moments are not on camera to be seen. So he makes stupid comments like when Kiki and them got into it. Oh, us, the women can just say anything, but us men are just calm, cool, and relaxed. And it's like, dude, you do know we saw the Vegas episode where you had to be held back on two different occasions from going after your ex-wife. It's been put out there that you attacked Mel's makeup artist in front of own executives, from what I understand. How he still has a job is beyond me.
I wonder because see, like if you put your hands on me and you throwing stuff and trying to fight me, if you don't want me to sue or call the cops, you gotta break me off some cash. So I wonder, like, did the makeup artist get some money for I hope he did,
Mm.
and who paid it? Because I don't think the OWN network would have paid it, because to Cinnamon Swirl's point, then Carlos would start getting in serious trouble if the network
Hmm.
has to protect this man. Like, did Carlos throw some money at the problem? Did Martell? But what money he got to throw at a problem? It makes you
I
think.
even I even think of when they said he interrupted production on Mel's show Behind Every Man, and he put his hands on I guess a makeup artist there too. How is he getting away with all of this?
It's crazy.
Yeah, I believe that the fact that he's gotten away with so much DV or violence is actually, I think it's starting to catch up with Carlos. I really do. I believe there's a reason why he's so quiet and things. And I think I heard that some of the executives at OWN have been fired. And I don't know if it has anything to do with that, but I wouldn't be surprised.
I thought it had to do with the merger with I think it's Warner Brothers. You know how, like, when companies, there's a merger, then somebody
Mm-hmm.
gets
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
taxed.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it had
But
something
that
to
might
do with
be
that.
another reason why Martell is in danger now, because it's Warner Brothers is involved. And the climate is that they're not going to allow these things to continue to happen. But something has actually happened, because I think it's very strange that we no longer see him in one-on-one camera time with the Scotts anymore.
Yeah,
Yes, that
because
got me thinking. Go ahead, Simply.
I was going to say that even when he had that conversation with Marceau, it seemed like Chris was just there as a buffer just in case something goes
Mm-hmm.
wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Even with the Tiffany conversation, it seemed like they used Marceau as a buffer just in case he went off the edge on her, and she was pregnant at the time.
Mm-hmm. And that was part
Sure.
A. Now that scene, was that part B when they were at Martell's house and Chris was in the middle? Was that one of the openings episodes of this part B? I
Yeah, it
can't
was like
remember.
episode 2 or 3, one
Of,
of one
of
or the
right.
other.
And I think that's the last time we saw them together by themselves. Now
And
remember,
I
they're supposed to be such good friends.
Yep. And they even said that Mel has security on set.
Mm-hmm.
They
Yep.
said that OWN provides her security on set because of him, which is a major red flag when you have to get a castmate security to keep another castmate in line. That is
Right.
crazy.
In other circumstances, he would get kicked off. He would
Right.
other reality TV shows, you would get the X. Like, even like with Portia, we didn't see Portia off the show. I think because they felt like Kenya was provoking her with the scepter and everything. But in other instances, usually when someone puts hands on someone, there is some sort of ramification. But Martell, he doesn't get anything.
Hey, Ebony, this is
Hmm.
Cynthia. Have you noticed that Melody is the only cast member that has said she'll be back next season?
Oh yeah, I hadn't
She's the
thought of
only one.
that.
Oh,
So who knows? He may not be back next season. Maybe that's why he and that gal, that's what I call in my private time. Maybe they
Yes.
are going around and trying to, make a dollar out of 15 cents, so to speak.
Um,
Well, I
Yeah.
got news for them because the CCs are getting together and they are determined not to give them any play. That she is not going to make any money, or they
Exactly.
won't make any money off of the M&M kids. And I say it's about time we start to do that.
Hurrah.
We need
I
to shut
look,
that down.
Yeah.
Cinnamon Swirl. I said start call. I said drop the whole off those kids' name and start calling
Yep,
them Rogers.
absolutely, absolutely.
I miss seeing the kids. No word of that. Is he still? How is he able to say she's not supposed to show the kids, but it's okay for coleslaw on him too? I miss seeing the kids.
I miss seeing the kids too. It's that
Yeah,
judge. That judge
Yeah,
was
yeah, the
one
judge.
for real.
yeah. I can tell you that after even seeing some of the documents, that judge should be ashamed of herself because
Hmm.
she has one job and that is in the best interest of the children. And she honestly did not think in the best interest.
Not at all. And I can't stand the fact how she says Mariah's name. And we all know that Mariah cannot stand her. Let's not forget the scene where they both spoke about how she saw her father out with her and she rolled down the window and said, "Get away from my father." We know she hasn't forgot about that. We know she can't stand that girl.
But you know, Martell doesn't care. Martell cares about
No, he
self.
doesn't care.
He
And it's a
don't.
shame that you really believe that when you're not around, she doesn't mistreat your children or she has bad thoughts about them. I don't want. He's a jackass. Excuse my
I,
French.
I don't like the fact that they're trying to use the children to taunt Mel. I don't
Yeah.
like that at all. That is one of the most hurtful because it's like I know her trigger. Her trigger is her children, so we're gonna use the kids to get at her. You don't do that to people, especially when you know you have a custody arrangement where it's 7 days on, 7 days off, and she doesn't know exactly what's going on when the kids are away from her. She can only, like she say, pray that everything goes fine.
Hmm.
And my heart went out to her when that girl was like, "Yeah, me and Milani, we did this together." And Mariah, I was like, "Stop!
She's
You talk
very
more
Hmm.
about that
petty.
woman's kids than you did your own."
Yeah,
Hmm.
she's
I
a
pray
very
that she gets
petty.
together with Paris's father. They get together, and he can have, they can have some reinforcement from Paris' dad, because that she's not even a good mother to her own children.
Yes,
I
And
believe
she's
you
very petty.
she has mental issues.
Some people
and
do
you
think she's slow. Go ahead.
She has
and
mental
you
issues.
Yeah, I agree. And you know they're taunting Mel because when he was flipping the boy in the kitchen, he told her to get out the way so that we can see
Hmm.
the boy. So
Hmm.
you went to court to stop the four because you couldn't profit off of them. But
Hmm.
now you don't have an issue with showing the one.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Like
he thinks he's hurting Melody, and mostly he wants to hurt her pockets. But
Right.
she can sell Sugar Mama products without showing Sugar Mama. But that speaks to her sales skills. He's just mad about that. But yeah, Coleslaw is definitely immature and petty. That lets me know you seriously don't want a good relationship with this ex-wife, or else you wouldn't try to taunt her and meddle with her. You know, she ghetto.
Does
but you know
anybody
what?
know how long it is in writing? Like, can they appeal the decision? Can Mel take it back to court? Like, how permanent was that? What the judge said? Could she go back or
Yeah,
move? Can she still relocate? Like, move down to Atlanta by her family, by her brother Marcus, and
I
They
don't
See,
have a
know.
we
pending court date. They have a date that was extended. And I think the court date is next month. And
it is.
it's something to do with the children. So hopefully it's that she can get full custody. I hope so. He's just unfit. And as long as he's around that woman, he's unfit. She's unfit.
And that's why it's so important for Melody to be strong and not retaliate, via social media. And that's what
Mhm.
they want her to do. That's why they did that on social media. They
Hmm.
come back so that she can mess up her chances. So I'm just so proud of her that she did not say a word, because I know it was hard.
Right.
Know it was hard. As long
Now,
as
I,
can she show the show as proof? Like when he blew up in Las Vegas, can she bring in those recorded shows episodes to prove it?
because it doesn't have anything to do with the children. That's just
Right.
something between her and him. But what they did on there, has something to do with the children. She can say, and well, I'm sure her attorney knows how to do that. How they are using her children's name, and what they're doing with the children. She can't even do that, really. And hopefully, the attorney, can is a great attorney, and can appeal to the court. But I'm just happy that she did not retaliate, because that's what they wanted her to do, all because that court date is coming up. So I'm
Hmm.
will get absolute full custody
Yeah.
to move wherever she wants to do, because he could care less, really.
you
You
can
know
say
what
that
she
again.
needs to show? She needs to show how they're dangerous together. Um, she needs to show how the police are being called on the two of them,
Yes.
how they're fighting each other. That's not a good situation for any of the children, even the one that she gave birth to. That's his child. It's not a good situation at all. So I'm hoping that she's going to use that situation to show that they're not good together. There's too much violence between the two. There's really bad blood between the two of them. And they'll be
Hmm.
fighting again within the next 90 days. He'll start fooling around with some other woman. He'll be showing her off, and we can see her be unhinged again. It's going to show again. Right
It,
now, she's all happy because he's showing her some attention, but it's short lived. We've seen this happen too many times.
I'm just going to say, expect these two clowns to come out again this week, because it's leading up to Mel's birthday, and her that
Mm,
ceremony shows next week.
mm-hmm,
So I
mm-hmm.
expect the two clowns to put on a performance this week.
But that's okay. As long as we all get together and ignore them, that's going to really make them upset when we ignore them. Now, of course, people the like of, Uncle Wanda, she'll go over there, as she's already said. I heard someone said when she went live, I guess it was last night, saying that they're going to get together. So she's such a low life. She would do that. But when I say karma is something else, boy, that Wanda got some stuff coming at her also.
And I will say this too, and this is not to offend content creators, but uh, as you said, when they do decide to come back out, and even with the content that they've put out, content creators should not replay that.
They should not.
Do
Yeah.
not. It's I look at it as 30 pieces of silver. I know that you get money for it, but if you really, really want to support Melody like you've never
Right.
done before, do not accept those 30 pieces of silver and betray her by doing that. Cut them off.
Yeah.
Do
I've
not.
heard quite a few of them say it's time for us to stop doing that. So I'm just praying it's enough of us, of them, so they will stop, because we don't need to put any money in their pockets, and we don't need to give them any light. Let them go back and crawl under their rock.
I agree.
I don't think
Does
they're monetized
anybody know
on any
how
platform.
often?
I don't think they're
I'm sorry.
monetized on TikTok or anything. I don't even think she utilizes her YouTube channel either.
Oh,
But I don't think they're even monetized anywhere.
Does anybody know how long the contracts run? Do you know, Ebony? Like, if there's like another year, like how often do they renew it to know if the show can even come back for another season? Is it about that time, or are we past that deadline?
OWN hasn't announced that it's bringing it back, but Love and Marriage Huntsville is like their #1 show, so I would imagine it's definitely coming back. But I think in reality TV, the contracts are just for each season, and then they pay them so much money per episode. But I'm pretty sure they'll bring it back because LAMH is OWN's bread and butter.
Do you like Detroit? Does anyone like Detroit?
I've never seen it. I decided I would never support Carlos King, so I've never seen it. Now I do like Bell Collective, and I will look at that. But Detroit, I've never seen one episode of. But something is going on because anybody a fan of Bell Collective, it was like there was like the last episode they did not show. You can tell there was another episode that needed to come out, and all of a sudden it just like shut down. You didn't hear anything. And then the same thing with Love and Marriage DC. You know what is going on? I know they say Ashley is not coming back, but
yeah, that's taking a long time to come back. Love and Marriage DC. Love and Marriage Detroit, to circle back to that question. I did watch it. I didn't watch the reunion because by the time you got to the reunion, it did fizzle out and it was very boring to me. But in the beginning episodes, it was good. It showed more, sexist husbands who kind of just wanted to run their wives, and you kind of wondered if there was cheating and toxic relationships. His standard formula for reality TV shows, that was it. But by the time you got to the reunion, it had fizzled out, and I didn't even bother watching the reunion episodes. I do feel like Bell Collective is a very good reality TV show. There's Love and Marriage Huntsville and Bell Collective. Those are probably Ohm's best and CK's best work. So he's not screwed up Bell Collective yet. Hopefully he won't. But that show is good. It comes back Friday night.
Well, I just want to say thank you as always, Ebony, aka Bebuni, beautiful blessing that I call you. I appreciate your commentary. And I love your insight that you're able to see from such a unique perspective that just makes sense. So I just really enjoy all of your commentary, and I hope many, many more videos. I told you I couldn't click fast enough, so I'm definitely looking forward to. Even if I don't watch the show, I'm a supporter of you, Ebony, and I just want to say keep up the great work, and looking forward to that interview with possibly Kiki.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for clicking on the link. I appreciate you. Did anybody else have any other words about the show or about how, CK produces reality TV?
I just have one quick question. Do you think they're going to bring on Close Law, Ebony? Do you think they're going to bring on? Does anyone think they're really going to bring on Close Law?
I don't. I believe that there will be so many viewers that would turn it off that he would never be able to bring the viewership back. I think he understands that the fan base of Mel will not allow it at all. I think we've made that clear, and I don't think he wants to. He doesn't want to chance it.
I believe they were going to sneak her on just like they did the brother. And I think I believe the backlash from that episode is what stopped it.
Okay. Yeah, because that would be disastrous if they brought her on, because I wouldn't want to support a side chick. I don't think that's right for her to get a platform because she helped a man cheat. That's how I'd look at it. And no, I think that would be show SUICIDE to bring her on. Absolutely not.
I don't think so either, Ebony. I don't think that the intellect matches Melody's, and it was show. And it shows now, but actually on screen, the intellect doesn't match. And if he's gonna cheat, you would think it would be someone that is on the same level of Melody or higher, and that's not the case. This young lady she's elementary,
He
and
found somebody on his level.
exactly. And so I just thought just showcasing her on a national platform, I think it would take the show right off because the intellect just doesn't match.
Yeah. I agree. I always feel like when men do cheat, it's always with a woman that's below the wife. Because I feel like with him, he feels more confident with a coleslaw. He probably feels
That
incompetent when he's around Melody, but with coleslaw, he feels like the man.
I
absolutely.
agree. I think you kind of saw it in that TikTok when she was like, "Oh, I gotta touch Mr. Holt before I get out the car." She makes him feel like a king in her eyes, and that's what he's always wanted from Mel. He wanted Mel to validate him in a way that Mel was like, "Absolutely not." Like, I got 4 kids, not 5. I'm not gonna sit here and validate you for the simplest things because that's the problem with a lot of people. A man can do the bare minimum and then they
Mhm.
expect a pat on the back for it. No.
That's right. Like when they do stuff with children, they act like they're doing this huge thing. But no, those are your kids. That's the minimal. Like what you just said simply, and that's how they act. That was what Angela Bassett says in Boys in the Hood. Like you're not going to think you special because you're taking care of your son.
Yeah.
You're
Exactly.
Yep.
And was anyone nervous about where Coco was gonna touch him at? I was like, whoa, if she does, when she's like, I gotta touch you, Mr. Holt, before I get out of the car, I said, girl, please don't touch somewhere else. I thought that's where she was gonna touch.
me
You know,
too.
knowing her, she probably would have because she's that immature.
Yeah. And I'm like, is she trying to be this social media influencer? This is ridiculous. And I thought she was going to grab it. I'm like, what in the world is going on?
And I'll say
Dang.
something else, Ebony, with that gal. If it's true that she was on a Section 8 program, really, it really shows how uh, smart less she is. Because, my background is working with the housing authority. And I will tell you,
Mm.
with the Section 8 programs, you have so many pluses by being on that program. Of course, it's set up for you to transition onto permanent housing and being self-sufficient. And one of the things that they have is a home ownership program. And if you work and you save up this amount of money, just say for instance, you save up $4,000. They have a program that will match that down payment and help you get a home. But because of the fact of her intellect that we spoke about, she doesn't have enough sense to use all of that time that she had, that she could have got her own house for her and her child. She is so worried about this man that will eventually leave her.
Oh
She has,
Absolutely.
yeah, it's a short term thing. When he called her a peasant, he means that. He believes that she is beneath him.
Yep.
He really does. He called
Yep.
her a peasant. And if you go back, because I've gone back to look at the earlier seasons, and when he made that statement, he said she's a peasant. And he really believes that. She is low class. She really is. And not only well, she'd have to get a job in order to purchase a home on those programs, and that's something she's not willing to do. She definitely is what they call a section 6 chick. She doesn't want to work.
Hmm.
well, that's
She's
part of the,
low class. And that's why he won't be with her, because he wants a woman like his ex wife who can take care of him, who is very smart, who can bring him up, who can run a business, who can go out and sell him. He wants a woman like that. And so she believes that um she's able to do that. Did you hear the statement when she said our rental property? Honey, you don't own anything with that man. You are so delusional. And he is
Yes.
using you. Our
I
rental
know.
property. Girl, go somewhere. You don't even have a car anymore.
I
Can't
You
know.
know
she get
what?
in trouble for that though? Isn't that like falsifying, like going to H&M, spending 1,500? I know I had a situation, my fiance's ex baby mama drama, unfortunately, but yeah, that she lied, said that she didn't have any income and kept trying to get in child support increase. And then she turned around They went to court, and I just happened to accidentally, on purpose, fax in some documentation to the court, and they kicked her out of the program. Like, I don't see how they can't see that, like, her flaunting that should be able to kick her off of any program.
Well, from my
That's what I was
understanding,
Well,
thinking
you know,
because
with that,
also when you're, I thought you
supposedly it
can
was
only
his
get the
money.
assistance when you're single. Like if she is showing herself with a man and stuff, can't her assistance get cut off that way?
well, from my understanding that she has already lost her voucher from
Yeah.
what I've heard out
Yeah,
in the
that's what I
street.
heard.
And maybe
Okay, that
when
makes
you're on
sense.
section, when you're on
Yeah.
Section 8, you have to have income, opposed to if you're on public housing, you can have zero income. And then
Well,
and
wouldn't her income have been child support from Paris's dad? Would that income count?
that is income.
Okay, right. Hmm.
Oh, so with Section 8, you do have to show some income. I thought you didn't, and I thought you had to be like single, like not even a man living with you or anything.
You can have a man living with you, and he can be a man that's not working. But you have to, if there is income, you have to provide that information
Mm.
to HUD or to your apartment manager or whoever your landlord, whomever is calculating your rent.
So
That is
people can
true.
just make money to be trifling. Like you can like get money because you're trifling.
Well, the thing
Yep.
about too with the you have a lot of people that try to get away with that, and what they don't understand is every year we do a EIV, or when I did work with the housing authority, EIV, and that's employment income verification. And if you did work during that year and did not report it, everything that you've ever done that you use your social security number with, it comes up. And then you're either going to pay that money back or you're going to be kicked off the program. And sometimes they don't want the money. They just want.
Hmm.
Mm-mm-mm. Child.
So, like
So
he
she
said,
was,
she's a peasant. Because
yeah,
just think of the life. Just think about the lifestyle he had. You know, they were living in what, almost $1 million home,
yeah,
and then he
Mm-hmm.
went to a woman on Section 8. And
yes.
so that's why he calls her a peasant. And she cannot provide the things that he wants. He wants a woman of quality, even though he's not a man of quality, but that's not stopping him from wanting a woman that has substance and quality. And so he's never going to be with her. He's just going to continue to use her. Like I said, in another 90 days, we'll hear her going off, talking about him because he'll be seen with some other woman. He won't be there for long, but he's going to keep coming back because they have that child together.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
she's dumb enough to let him keep coming back.
See,
yeah.
with him, he told her his true feelings when he called
Mm-hmm.
her a peasant. And
Mm-hmm.
when they're in closed doors and he was sneaking over there to do his due with her, he made her feel like she was more important than his wife. But when push came to shove, he told the world you were only 15% compared to her 85%.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So to me, she's setting herself up for heartache. And
Mm-hmm.
believe it or not, somebody said before Martell is playing a dangerous game, and I completely agree.
Oh, I
Because he's
believe she
playing
may
with that.
hurt him one day.
Yeah.
She may hurt him one day. Yeah.
When she realized that he is the peasant,
Mm-hmm.
that's when it's all going to hit the fan.
They
He,
on equal footing.
yes,
And
but
to
Mm-hmm.
to the point where she calling him Mr. Hope. Why are you calling him Mr. Hope? He's a
he think
scumbag.
he,
He a peasant just like you.
he think it's
Wishing
cute.
upon a star that his wife would take him back. And that should make her feel like less than, because if Mel was to call Martell right now and said, baby, come home, do you honestly
He
think he ain't gonna run over there to that house on the hill?
he would move back tonight. He would move back right
Yep.
now.
He would leave everything he has at her house. He would leave
I
it there.
agree.
Just
Yeah.
leave
And
it there.
to make matters worse, that man, when Mel revealed during that episode that man said he can do away with the baby and just pay child support and they can just move away, and he literally confirmed what Mel said, That was a gut punch to her right there. He didn't even want your baby. That man said, we can just move away and I'll just pay child support to that kid.
Mm-hmm.
But she's smiling in that camera thinking she won the prize. And Mel already told you, you ain't win nothing
Yeah.
but baggage.
And another thing too, I won't say I feel bad for her, but as a woman, I there's something in me that look at her when she's looking in the camera and she thinks that she has something in Martell, but her self-esteem is so low she will not even smile and show her her top teeth, or you can tell she smiles as if she's embarrassed, that she doesn't really think she's cute, like she tries to say that she's that girl.
Right.
She could tell that she's really ashamed. You can look at body language as how she put
Mm-hmm.
her mouth. Kind of reminds you of like The Color Purple, where Celie, she
Mm-hmm.
had been told that she wasn't anything for so long. She put her hand up to her mouth because she didn't think she was beautiful. And
Mm-hmm.
when you see that gal, she just when she does that, I said she doesn't even really believe everything that she says about herself. She is not confident at all. She's
At
confident
all.
in her
Yeah.
what she can provide sexually. She's confident in that, but she's not confident as a woman, as to no one can tell you that you're not beautiful. She really does not believe that she's beautiful.
She
I can see
wouldn't.
that.
You see how she wanted that filter on, right?
Yeah, I looked at that too. I said
She
she
want, she
really
want,
does.
but then Melody gets on screen with no makeup on, none.
And she's envious of that.
Exactly.
She's envious of that, and so when I don't feel bad for her as the other woman that caused so much, chaos with Martell and Melody, but I look at her like I look at the character Celie, where you feel bad, like this self esteem probably go way back before
Mm-hmm.
at Martell.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I thought
And
she was
men,
smiling like that because she was embarrassed that them braces are still on after how many years?
yeah.
Jesus.
And men can pick up on when you have those self-esteem issues and
Mm-hmm.
like the review hour E said, she's confident in like her sexual prowess, like performing in the bedroom. They can pick up on all of that and
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
they're gonna move accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, and he you could tell he plays into her insecurities. And then he tries to big her up like he did in that live. He said, "Oh, but you look good without it." And he knows she doesn't feel like she looks good without them filters.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. He has to
And
build.
you know what? And did you notice in that live when he said, "What you just need to cook more?" And she says, "Martell, I cook every day." They don't even live together. I don't believe that said a. It's that live said a lot about their relationship and the lack of it.
You saw when he caught her because it was about the making of the plates. And she
Mm-hmm.
was like, and he'll make my plate, and it was
Mm-hmm.
complete silence.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
said, girlfriend, you just played yourself because he does
Mm-hmm.
not make your plate at
Right.
all.
They were lying for the camera. Mm-hmm.
And putting 10 on 20
Mm-hmm.
about what they do as a family.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing them kids
Mm-hmm.
don't. I said, you could tell Mariah don't like her.
Exactly. And who makes a gingerbread house for Halloween?
She
I
said
was
they
like,
carved
excuse me?
pumpkins. She said they carved pumpkins, and I was like, well, wouldn't that have been the better choice to show for
Exactly.
Halloween?
And where were the pumpkins? We didn't see any of them. So,
They
ugh.
ain't do no pumpkins. And if
Mm-mm.
they did do pumpkins, it probably was one measly pumpkin.
And I want to know why Mariah's ginger house was flat.
Because she probably said, I don't want to do this. I want to go to my mom's
Exactly.
house.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I just
And
feel for those babies.
I do. And I recall one time when she said, those kids are no angel, I believe that they give her hell. And Tank is a mama's boy. Mariah doesn't like her. Boss Baby, I believe she could really get somebody straight already.
I
I
think she
believe they
better
give
watch.
that girl hell.
I think she better watch out for Mariah, because if
Mm-hmm.
Mariah is as tall as Mel, she gotta
Mm-hmm.
be towering over this girl.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Boss baby probably sets people straight too.
Oh yeah, boss. I'm telling you, I believe Boss Baby was getting her siblings straight when she was 2. When she first
Yep.
came on the screen, you see her, she was like, and she's
Yeah.
getting people straight. And you
Yeah.
saw the scene. Remember the scene when they were at the restaurant and Miss Marlene
Yeah.
was there, and Boss Baby had on some lip gloss, and he was like, "That's lipstick," and she was like, "No, it's not. No, it's not." And she can get somebody straight, I'm telling you. But
Yeah.
When
he called
that
her Melody.
he
Oh,
he thought Mel gave her that until
Yep.
she busted it open and said,
That
"Grandma gave it to
yeah,
me."
yeah, yeah.
Because he was definitely about to put the blame on Mel.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
So yeah, I believe those children can give her hell. I really do.
I
And
don't
she
blame
haven't
them.
seen nothing yet.
I don't blame them
Exactly.
though.
Me either.
I don't. And
Me either.
I think they kind of walk on eggshells with them kids
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, because they don't know what them kids are telling Mel once
Yep.
they get back. And he made the mistake of getting them phones. And we know Mariah texts Mel, because Mel showed the text message when the girl was like, "Can you have the chef come over?"
Mm,
They they don't know what them kids are going home to tell Mel.
yeah.
And think about what they say to each other. The three oldest, because sisters and brothers, they talk. They get in their
Yeah.
bedroom, they talk. Shoot, they talk
Hmm.
about their parents when they're together. You get up there and say, I can't believe they did this or they did that. I don't want to eat that anymore. Whatever. Sisters and
Yeah.
brothers talk.
They
And
probably
so,
be like, "She can't cook."
Yeah, they
Anybody
probably be
seen?
like, what in the world?
exactly. So I'm sure they have a ball when they
I
leave.
would love I would love to hear what Boss Baby say about Ariane. I would pay money to listen to that little girl. Cause I know she goes in, okay?
Yes.
To Mel. "Mommy, her food don't taste nothing like yours." She be saying hi to us, and we want to say nothing, but we were raised with manners.
Oh, I bet it's hilarious. Well, y'all, what
Oh,
are y'all closing words on this episode and just the current status of the show?
um, well, I think the show. I actually have enjoyed this season. I'm actually looking forward to next week's episode, because, like, I've never heard anything about a name changing ceremony, so I kind of want to see this to see what it's all about.
I want to check it out too. What about you, Christine? What are your closing thoughts?
I want to thank you, first of all, for always having the best commentary on all the shows that you watch. Yeah, I am definitely looking forward to the name change, and I'm hoping that nobody acts a fool. And yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. I think it's going to be really nice. And then we'll another chance to finally see Miss Van again.
Good thoughts. What about you, E, the review hour?
Well, I'm enjoying it as well, more so than last season because I really I was drained. But this season, it's okay, and I'm looking forward to see what's to come, and we'll just stay tuned.
Well, I think Cinnamon Swirl dropped down, but I want to thank all of you for coming up. Y'all did great. I appreciated your commentary. And thanks for everyone who kicked it with me in the chat and in the bushes. Please hit the like button on your way out, and I will talk with y'all soon. Have a good day tomorrow. It's Monday. We're going to have a great week. I'll talk to y'all later.
Thank you. You too. Have a blessed week, everybody. Good night.
You
You
too.
too. Good night. Bye-bye.